Let's have a fair and predictable immigration policy, a path towards opportunity and enforcement, by Damon, Townsend, and Krist, Novoselić. Immigration is yet another issue caught up in polarized politics. Let's use the legislative process to craft a predictable and fair immigration policy. Cascade Party Washington wants to discuss an immigration policy which balances enforcement with opportunity. The time has come for the politicization and resulting anxiety to stop. American immigration policy since World War II offers valuable lessons for crafting a realistic policy. Major reforms have often combined humanitarian ideals with enforcement and economic pragmatism. The Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965 abolished the national origins quota system, opening America's doors to immigrants based on family ties and skills rather than ethnicity. This bipartisan law reflected the values of fairness and opportunity, setting the stage for today's diverse immigrant population. Another milestone was the Immigration Reform and Control Act of 1986, known as IRCA under President Reagan. IRCA was a bipartisan compromise that granted amnesty, legal permanent residency to about 2.7 million undocumented immigrants who had put down roots in the U.S., while simultaneously instituting the first penalties for employers who knowingly hired unauthorized workers. The laws beefed up border resources and required employees to verify work eligibility, the origin of today's I-9 employment form. Reagan hailed the IRCA as a humane effort to regain control of borders and uphold the value of citizenship. The IRCA's dual approach of legalization plus enforcement embodied pragmatic centrism. However, it also taught us that one-time fixes are not enough. After IRCA, illegal immigration continued to rise, partly because enforcement measures were not fully effective or funded. This underscores that lasting reform must address future labor needs and enforcement, not just offer one-time amnesty. The 1990 Immigration Act had broad bipartisan support and increased legal immigration quotas, creating new visas for high-skilled workers known as the H-1B program and the diversity visa lottery. This expansion acknowledged that welcoming talent and diversity fuels economic growth. In 1996, laws tightened enforcement with expedited removals and border fencing, reflecting public demand for the rule of law, but without providing new paths to legal status. They did little to resolve the status of millions of undocumented residents. The early 2000s saw attempts at comprehensive immigration reform. The most notable was a bipartisan Senate push in 2006 and another in 2007, both combining stronger border security with a path to citizenship for undocumented immigrants and reforms to legal visas. Although these efforts failed, they set the template for the 2013 Gang of Eight plan. In 2013, a bipartisan Gang of Eight senators crafted the Border Security, Economic Opportunity, and Immigration Modernization Act of 2013, Senate Bill 744. This so-called gang included Democratic Senator Charles Schumer of New York and Republican Senator Marco Rubio of Florida. The compromise combined in four key pillars. 1. Border and enforcement triggers required new border security measures and a nationwide electronic employer verification, E-Verify system before undocumented immigrants could progress to green cards. 2. Earned a path to citizenship, a 13-year pathway to citizenship for an estimated 11 million undocumented immigrants contingent on background checks, fines, taxes, and clean records. Dreamers and farm workers could earn green cards faster. 3. Immigration modernization. Cleared visa backlogs, reduced family-based visa wait times, and created merit-based visas and an expanded guest worker program. Fiscal fairness required immigrants to pay application fees, fines, and taxes while barring federal benefits until citizenship. The Gang of Eight bill passed the Senate 68-32 with 14 Republicans, although it died in the House. It remains a template for centrist reform, showing that pairing security with compassion can attract wide support. Current bipartisan immigration proposals. 1. The Dignity Act, 2023, introduced by Representative Maria Elvira Salazar, Republican of Florida, and Representative Veronica Escobar, Democrat of Texas, endorsed by the Problem Solvers Caucus. Provided over $25 billion for border security, mandates E-Verify for all employers, and creates a two-phase legalization program. Dreamers receive a direct path to residency. Number 2, DREAM Act, bipartisan Senate bill introduced by Senator Dick Durbin, a Democrat of Illinois, and Senator Lindsey Graham, a Republican of South Carolina, grants dreamers brought in as children the chance to earn permanent residency and citizenship by completing education, military service, or sustained employment. Background checks and English civics requirements apply. Number 3, Farm Workforce Modernization Act, introduced by Representative Zoe Lofgren, a Democrat of California, and Representative Dan Newhouse, a Republican of Washington, provides legal status for experienced farm workers, streamlines and expands the H-2A guest worker program, and mandates E-Verify in agriculture. Passed the House twice with bipartisan support. Number 4, Bipartisan Border Solutions, initiatives by Senator John Cornyn, Republican of Texas, Senator Kirsten Sinema, Independent of Arizona, and others. Proposals to increase the border personnel, add immigration judges, expand processing centers, and accelerate asylum processes while maintaining child protections. A platform rooted in realism and compassion. These proposals share a common thread. Centrist, evidence-based solutions. They are realistic, having passed one chamber or built significant bipartisan support. They balance compassion with rule of law by holding individuals accountable while offering opportunities to those who contribute. They expand opportunity, allowing immigrants to pursue education, work, and community life. Immigration need not be a flashpoint in polarized politics. The Cascade Party can adopt these proposals as the foundation of its stance, showing commitment to solutions over slogans, compassion balanced with enforcement, and an immigrant system that helps people live their best life. Damon Townsend is a Cascade Party board member representing District 3-6. He has experience in government administration. Krist Novoselić is a Cascade Party chair. He serves on the board of directors and an at-large position. He also served as chair of Fair Vote, a leading election reform group from 2008 until 2019.